Hi everybody, it's Sam at Mixed Up Craft. Thanks for watching my tutorial today. This is project number 5 of my Christmas Workshop 2017, so we're over halfway now through the series. I hope you've been enjoying the projects that I've made so far. Today I have this really nice gift box with 4 Christmas decorations inside. Now this is just the prototype of the box. You would have seen the finished one in the pictures at the beginning of the video. So this is just to give you an idea, and it's got an acetate kind of little lid for the top. Now this is either could be used as a gift box because you're going to give this to somebody, or a storage box because you're making it and keeping it for yourself. So this one, obviously not this box, but the one I'm making today is for myself. However, I have also made a few extra decorations. So these are the decorations here. This just comes out, so I'll just pop that to one side, and then you can see there it's just got these 4 really cute decorations inside. So I've got 2 different designs. So I've got one with Merry Christmas and then this one with Ho 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 on the sides. Some really pretty ribbons. I bought these last Christmas, so pleased to be able to use them now. And the concept of this is exactly the same as my orb dinner party box and the orb gift box as well that I made. Just the difference with this one is it's the same closure on the top as well as the bottom. Now you could have this as a little gift box as well when we get to making it, and once we come to stick this down I'll tell you how you can maybe kind of alter it a bit. If you want to keep it as maybe something to keep gifts in and hang on the tree, you can do that. But I've done this purely as tree decorations. As I've mentioned before, the green, red, gold kind of colours, that's my theme, that's what all my decorations are, so these will match in nicely with that. So I've got some extras here, and what I'm going to do, because I've already done my Christmas series and I pre-recorded all my videos, I thought it'd actually be quite nice to make a little gift box for just one. So today I'll show you how to make all these, but next week when I'm back to my normal projects, I plan on doing a project with a gift box that will fit this in. Okay, so because I do think it would be nice to just do one little one, and you could personalise it, date it, things like that. Total measurements of this one, it's a nice, like I said, it's a nice size, just under 8 inches tall, and it's 6 and just over 6 1/4 in width, and the depth of the box is just under 3 inches. This is again that technique that I've used for the shadow box, so it's a way of making shadow boxes any size you want, so it's that again. But I wasn't happy with the finish here, but the new box that I'm going to be making with you has I found a way to rectify that, and it's much nicer. So let's crack on and make it. I'll pop all those to, where can I pop that for the minute? I'll pop that there, keep that one out again there just so you can see a bit more detail. Okay, right, so you are going to need, grab my, to charge my, oh no, it's okay, you can't see it. We've just had a massive storm as well, so the light is just starting to reappear again, so apologies if it's a little bit darker than usual. Okay, so you are going to need, if I talk through the Christmas decorations first, so if you're going to do exactly what I've done, then you'll need 4 pieces of this size, and this is 6 by 10 1/4. If you just want to make one, then that's fine. Then you are going to need, these are what I've pre-prepared. So this is what I've got to go on this one. So just 2 Merry Christmas and then these little Christmas trees. These were from a Paper Chase stamp set, and this was from, I believe, no, I can't remember. I don't believe. I will, well, I do believe, but I will put a little note up for that one when I find out. But the larger size here is 2 3/8 of an inch by 1 3/4. That's for the larger outside piece. And this is using the same card that I've used for most of my projects, and this is by Craftsmith. And then the smaller piece is 2 1/8 by 1 1/2. And that's the bit there that I've put the sentiment on. So again, depending on how many you're doing, you'll either need 16 of each or just 4 of each. Okay. That's those pieces, and then a piece of ribbon that measures approximately 14 inches. Okay, because you're going to knot that and then feed it through. So that's for the box. Then you need to make, sorry, that's for the decoration. Then to make the box, you'll need 2 pieces of 6.5 by 8 7/8 of an inch. And then you'll need 2 pieces of 6.5 by 6 3/8 of an inch. Okay, and then for the base, because this is a deconstructed shadow box to be able to make it bigger, so you will need a piece of 6 3/8 of an inch by 7 7/8 of an inch. And then for your acetate for the top, now if you don't have acetate, there's no reason why you can't use some patterned paper or just the same colour card. You could then decorate that, or you could put a belly band onto it, you could put a big sentiment on it. So you can still do this project even if you don't have the acetate. But if you do, then it needs to measure 6 13/16 of an inch. So it's that funny measurement because it's going to be sitting inside the box. And then that measures 10 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and I've slightly changed the acetate because this time it's just going to slide in like so, rather than having it on all 4 sides going in. I found this to be much easier. Okay, so first of all let's start off making the box. So I'm going to pop all that to one side. Don't need the base for the minute. Okay, so first of all, starting off with a piece of your 6.5 by 8 7/8 of an inch. With your scoreboard, you are going to, along the 6.5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/4 of an inch, then at 3 inches, 3.5 inches, and 6 1/4 inches. And then rotate onto the 8 7/8 of an inch side, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and then at 8 3/8 of an inch. So you should have a 1/2 inch side on each side there. Okay. Then grab your piece of 6.5 by 6 3/8, and scoring along the 6.5 inch side, you're going to score at 1/4 of an inch, 3 inches, 3.5, and 6 1/4. Okay, and then rotate it along the 6 3/8 of an inch side, and you want to score at 1/2 inch, but only down. So you're going to go past that very first score line here, that 1/4 inch one, go past that and just go up to that second score line. Okay, so that's at 1/2 inch to the second score line, and then at 5 5/8 of an inch up to that second score line. 5 7/8 of an inch up to that second score line. So again, you should have little 1/2 inch little sides here. Now you need to do that on both the pieces, so you will have, okay, so now we can get these pieces cut. You'll need your scoreboard again in a bit when we make the actual decoration itself. Okay, this box is also great for other things. So if you just want a nice size gift box, then this will be perfect for that as well. So it doesn't have to be for these Christmas decorations. Okay, so I'll start with this piece first. So you just want to carefully burnish all of your score lines, and then get some nice sharp scissors. And what you want to do, doesn't matter which side you start on, but you want the longest side facing you, one of the longest sides, because they're mirrored, it doesn't matter. But I've already pre-stuck my tape, so I know which way I want to go. But basically you just want to cut up the first score line really neatly. This is all going to help, obviously, when you fold it together. So just cut up and then go past that second score line and cut up. So you're going past 1, 2, you're cutting up to the third score line, and then just very neatly cut that completely out. There we go. Okay. So again, just do that on the other side. So again, nice and neatly. Like so. And then you want to go to the top, and then you'll have that really tiny little square in both the corners. You just want to cut that completely out, like so. And then you just want to ever so slightly, as I always do, just take a little bit off, so you're just kind of notching off that tab. And just do the bottom of that one there. That one. Okay, so now we'll just lie that flat. So that is the shape you should have. Your longest panel facing you, and then you should have two little tabs and two of your 1/4 inch panels. So what you want to do is add some tape like I have. I'm using my strong red tape. If you're going to use wet glue, then hold on for a minute until I've done all the pieces. But if you're using double-sided tape or red tape, then pop the tape on now, so it's just going to make it easier. And you want to do them on both pieces. So I've got 2 pieces now exactly the same. Okay, so that's that one. And then grab your side piece, so your smaller ones, and again burnish all of your edges. And then what you want to do is on those score lines that you've scored here, you want this side facing you with these 2 score lines, and you're going to cut very neatly all the way up to the score line there. And then you're going to, from the corner of that next score line, you're going to cut that out like so. Okay, and then repeat that on the other side. So again, I'm cutting that score line out so you don't see any of it. Just give you a nice smoother finish. Just a bit of it underneath there. There we go. Okay, so again repeat that so you have 2 the same. So that's my 2 pieces, and then you want to add tape along the bottom of the longest one here. You don't want to notch these edges off. This is going to go flat and flush on the base of your card. And again, you don't need to notch off the bottoms here, so just pop your tape along the smallest pieces there on those 1/4 inch tabs. So you should have 2 of those, and now 2 of those. Okay, so next you want to grab your base, so this piece of 6 3/8 by 7 7/8. And what we're going to do first of all, so we're going to put it together very similar to how I put together my shadow box photo frame. So with these 2 shorter sides first we'll start with, what you want to do is, just check I am doing, yeah, right, just take off the tape from the longest side. Okay, so this side, we'll leave this one till last. And what you want to do is very neatly, following that score line, you want to lie that down so it meets like so. So when you bring it up, that's going to form the side of your box. Okay, so that's one side. Then we'll do the other end. So again, just very neatly line up that score line to the edge of the base, and then again I'll just meet up that end there, like so. Okay, so then you just want to test it, because these pieces will then go inside, but it should bring up 2 ends like so. Okay, then grab these 2, and here you want to be putting in, make sure I'm getting the right pieces. Yeah, so you want to take off the tape from the side where you've got the 2 tabs. Okay, this is the one we're sticking down first of all. So exactly the same as before. So this time you're just going to line it up, that corner of that notch that you've taken out. The reason I took the notch off is just so it's not so much card in that corner. I didn't want it to affect. And then just carefully, maybe better actually if I turn this upside down, yeah, and then you can follow the score line with the top rather than the other way. So just follow that all the way down. You should get it perfectly on the edge. Just make sure that's all stuck down. Okay, and then again with this piece, You're taking off the tape from the edge with the 2 tabs. And again, I'm just going to line up the corner of my base here, the corner of that tape, so that's right on that score line, like so. Okay, so next what you want to do is we're going to bring in these 2 longest sides first. Now, I just before told you to do these ones and it was the wrong way. Unfortunately, I realised and I was able to save this project. Whew. So you want to start with the green one. So what you want to do first is take off your tape here, and basically you're just going to line up the bottom of this with the bottom of that, and then lift it up, and as you kind of bring it over, you just want it to kind of sit and catch against the corner there. It's a little bit, hang on, let me just fold that in more. Make sure that's really folded in, and basically just kind of, you want it to rest, like clip in there against. Make sure it's nice and straight, so this end is lined up with this score line here. Yeah, so just spend a bit of time getting it in place, and then once you've done it, you can then push it right down, and you know it's in place because that should lie completely flat. And then when you bring it up, you'll see there you've got a nice side coming together of your box. So I'll show you again with this one here. Oh, hit my lamp. Ow, really hurt my finger. Okay, well I didn't burnish that end. As you bring it over, I didn't burnish either of those little ends. There we go. So as you bring it over, again, this edge here, you're lining up with this edge here. You're not overlapping it, you're sitting it side by side. So again, I'm just starting with one edge, and then go along and make sure you get that other one in. And make sure that it's lined up with these 2 lines here as well. So again, then bring it down. You can flatten it all into place, and the whole thing should lie flat, and then you know that it's all straight. Bring it back up again, and you'll see there you've got 2 nice sides to your box. Right, so next, just to show you as well, if you look inside there, you see the 2 1/4-inch sides are sitting side by side each other, and that's what you want. You don't want it overlapping, because you've got a 1/2 inch then on both the top and the bottom. Now, the reason I've done it this way and not just cut 1/2 inch is because if you stacked one on top of the other, it would actually raise up this top piece slightly on an angle, and it just wouldn't, your corners wouldn't close properly. So there is reason for it, so do trust me on that. Okay, so next you want to, these pieces are going to be the last pieces that we kind of put into place. So the next is this is going to come over, and then it's going to go, I'll just show you here, it's going to come up like so, but these pieces will be inside. So like I said, we kind of need to, actually we need to do it all at the same time. So right, here goes, because this is the first time I've done it with these corners, because obviously that prototype didn't have it. But take off the tape there, and take off the tape here. Okay, and what we do first is push these 2 in, so they kind of go inside the long green ones here. Okay, you don't want them right inside, because they do obviously need to stick against this. Bring this up, do one side at a time, and you just want to make sure you get that nice and flush, and just stick it down against that tape. This isn't keeping the box together, so it, you know, as long as it's just attached, you can see there as well. There, that is a much nicer finish to the prototype that I done. So you've got it all nice there. And then this bit here will come on in like so. You just want to make sure your corners are all nicely lined up there. So this is then going to sit. So should have cut that a bit better there. I can just see. I'll put that in under a minute. Okay, so you're taking the tape off of that end. You just want to keep your corners all nice here. And then as this one comes down, with a pokey tool, just kind of bring it in so it's lying. It's going to be hard to get it to obviously sit exactly next to, as long as you get it, it should kind of just naturally fall into place. As long as your glue's strong. You can see there it's all kind of just stuck down itself. I've not needed to do anything else with that. Then with these corner pieces here, what you want to do is just get a little bit of tacky glue. I'm going to do mine once I've put down these corners, but you just want to put it underneath. If you want to use, like I've got these great little I don't know what even they're called, but I'll put the link on my Facebook. But you can put a little bit of on my blog. You can put a little bit of glue on the edge there, and then just pop it underneath and push the corners in, just so you get it nice and flush, and then it stays in place. And to be honest, that's really what's keeping it its shape, is that little bit of glue on the top of all those corners. Okay, so then again, take off the tape here, and on the two sides here. Like so. Again, just kind of fold them in. Like so. I'll do one side first to bring that one round, so you get a really nice finish. Like so. And then with this one, again, as you bring it down, use your pokey tool just to kind of keep it off the bottom until it's right flush. So that's placed. I just had to pinch mine a bit there. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to put the glue corners. Okay, so I've just stuck all those down, so I'm going to let them just kind of sit in place. But there's your box. It's a really nice size gift box kind of base. Now the acetate, I'm going to just use the piece that I had in my prototype because I just don't want to waste my acetate. So this one is slightly different in terms of the scoring, but you can see that it just fits inside. So pretend this is the acetate. You'll obviously have the right stuff. What you want to do is scoring along the 10 3/4 of an inch side. You want to score at 2 3/4 and at 8. So you should have a 2 3/4 side. Just burnish those edges, okay, and then if I just take this piece out, your piece will sit like so. Okay, so you just have a nice acetate window, and like I said, you could then put a belly band around that if you just wanted to keep it as a plain gift box, and do a nice, put a belly band around, and then maybe get some nice big circle or rectangle dies cut out with a nice sentiment. That would look lovely as well. So it can be used just for that. And put that back on there. Okay, so now to make the Christmas deck, which I guess really is the real fun bit of this tutorial. So you need, like I said, either if you're following to fit into this gift box, then you'll need 4 of these. So 4 pieces of the 10 1/4 by 6, and then all those little bits and pieces that I talked through earlier. So first of all, scoring along the 6-inch side, you want to score at 1 inch and at 5 inches. Okay. Then flip it onto the 10 1/4 inch side, and you're going to score. First of all, I'll do the ones where you're scoring all the way down. So you're going to score at 2 1/2 all the way down, at 5 all the way down, at 7 1/2 all the way down, and at 10 all the way down. Then go back, and you're going to score at 3/4 just down to that first score line. Then at 1 3/4 just down to the first score line. Then at 3 1/4 to the first score line, 4 1/4 to the first score line, 5 3/4 to the first score line, 6 3/4 to the first score line, 8 1/4, 9 1/4, and then that's it. And then what you want to do is flip the card. Don't rotate it, actually flip it so it's on the other side. So you've now got the bottom at the top, and just repeat those score lines that I just told you down to that first score line. So 3/4, 1 3/4, and so on. So just rewind it back there, okay? Right, so that's all the scoring. Get rid of the scoreboard. So now what you want to do is, keep your stylus. Okay, and I also forgot to mention you want something circular. You could use a cup, you could use inside of a sellotape roll. I'm just using one of my dies here. And what you want to do is grab your ruler, and within each, so here we go, you can hold it up against the light. So you've got this square here. What we're going to do is we're going to mark down. You can see I've got these little pencil marks, and there, and there. Okay, so what you want to do is start off from this side here first, and from that second score line you're going to score 1 inch in pencil, and go down to that next score, the score line here. So every you want to score it along the score lines that you scored all the way down to the bottom. So go along to that next one and start down. This is when sometimes I explain it wrong. You can see what I'm pointing at. You don't want it, it's not 1 inch from the top of the card, it's 1 inch from this score line here. So again, just mark 1 inch there. You can just hold your ruler. If you do 1 inch at that end and 1 inch at that end, what you can do is just join up your ruler like so, and then just mark a little light pencil mark on each of those score lines that go all the way down. Then rotate it all the way around and do it again. So score 1 inch down here and 1 inch down here, and then just join it up again with little 1 inches. So again, I'll just hold it up and you can see there where I've got 1 inch down from that point there and 1 inch down from that point there. And again on that next score line, there's another little marker there, one there, and then at the very end one here and one there. Okay, and now what you want to do is with this, you're going to join the pencil mark up to the bottom of the square. So those of you who've done the orb and the curved gift box and stuff, you'll be familiar with this and you'll know obviously what you need to do. But basically we're joining the pencil mark up to that bottom corner of this square. So each of these squares, that's where we're going to be doing it. So I'm going to go along and show you, and I'll hold it up again to the screen. Okay, so you can see there what I've done. I've just scored a score line, and that is the shape that you want to have. And you're going to repeat that process in each of these large rectangles where you've got those pencil marks. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. Okay, so that is what you should have. So you can see now I've scored those marks. So it's almost like I don't know what shape, what style that is, but anyway, you can see, right, grab a rubber and just lightly rub out all those pencil marks. Burnish all of your score lines. Once we've cut them, then we'll be able to pinch these other little curved score lines. So what I would say now is if you, no, we'll decorate it after, let's cut these score lines. So, okay, so I'm starting on the bottom here with that little 1/4 inch tab on my left hand side. So what you want to do is you've got the 1/4 inch score line there, and then you've got the first score line of that square where you've joined up one of those curves. You want to cut very neatly because this is what's going to be shown. You want to cut down to that first score line and then cut all the way along again really neatly because this is what's all going to be seen, and the straighter and neater it is, the nicer close that you'll get on it, like so. Then go along to that next score line, so the other side of that square that we cut, that we scored. Okay, then skip across the burnished score line and go to that next guide line. And then you want to cut that whole piece completely out. Like so. It'll be upside down, so it'll be that way. Okay, so then go across over to the other side of that square, again cut down, then skip the burnished score line and go to that next one, and again cut that whole piece out. Again to that next one, skip the burnished one and then that last piece. Like so. So that is what you will have. You want to repeat that now, exactly the same on this piece. So I'll just start you off. So again, flip it over so your tab's now on the right hand side. You've got the burnished piece and then that first one of the square, cut down, and again cut that whole piece out. And then just work your way along again. Okay, so that is what you should have now. And then what you can do is just ever so slightly push down all of these little curved score lines. It's all starting to take its shape now. So let's decorate it, because it's easier to do this when it's nice and flat. So I've already prepared all my pieces. So I'm going to have that way, like so. So get all of those ready and stick them all down. So I'm just going to go ahead and do mine now. Okay, so that's that all prepared. What I've just gone ahead and done is put some tape along that little 1/4" tab that you have there. And what you want to do is fold it in half. Sorry, in half that way. So you've got the tab and you're just going to stick that down over the top. So I did say last week that this week the projects were going to be a little bit more meaty. So I don't tend to make too many projects this long, but I guess it's kind of 2 projects in one because you have the gift box as well as these lovely little decorations. So that's good. Okay, so there you just see I've stuck that down, and now you will start to see it all coming together more. So I know now that this is my top and this will be the bottom, so I'm going to do the bottom first. So what you want to do is bring in all of these corners, the curved corners like so. Okay, yeah, kind of flatten down the other side so you can use it to kind of put some pressure. And you're going to start to bring them all in like so, and there is the base like this. Okay, so what we want to do is start with your 2 sides. So decide if you've got a preference to the front. What I would say is where your seam is, have that as the back. So that's now here. So this one is going to be the last one I stick down along with the opposite one. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back on this side now, and these 2 I'm going to just leave out. So I'm going to stick these on top of each other. So I'm just going to apply some of my, I'm going to use my favourite little Pritt stick actually, because I like this stuff. So I'm just putting some glue on there, and then you just want to bring that one down over. Now it is a little bit fiddly because obviously you haven't got much room, but you need to just, if you can, get your finger underneath just to kind of pinch it together and just hold it in place while that glue sets. Okay, so they're both stuck down. The key is to make sure that they're completely lined up. Okay, so that square is completely on top of the other square, so they're nice and flush. So remember the back's here, so this is my front piece. So then I'm going to stick this back one on top. Like so. And then put some more glue on, because what you can do now is we can flip it over. We can put some pressure on the inside with a ruler to make sure it's all stuck down. It's gone really dark again, so apologies. I've got my lights on, but I think there's another storm coming, so bit of a mess there with my glue. Okay, so you can see there it's all nicely flat. Turn it over and just grab a little ruler. I'm just going to apply some pressure on there until it's all nice and stuck. So there we have the bottom. So there's my back, like so. So now we're going to repeat the process with the top. We're going to stick 3 down, and then before we stick the last one down, we're going to put the ribbon through. But what I would say is now when you get to this stage, if you want to keep this as a treat box, then you need to follow the directions in my tutorial for my orb gift box and the orb dinner party gift, because it's exactly the same. But basically you will cut a line in the middle of this square on this side, cut another line on that side, and you will then put them together. So they will close like so, and then you will put a Velcro dot or a magnetic dot on these 2, and it will close that way. And then you could also punch a little hole to feed some string, thinner string or thin ribbon through, and then it will hang on your tree. Okay, But like I said, I'm not going to do that. I am making these as just plain ornaments. So again, this is my front, that's my back. So these two sides here are going to be stuck down first. Okay, and then again, stick down this back one. So I'm just going to put some more glue on the top. Okay, so they're all stuck down. So now what you're going to do is grab a hole punch, or I'm just going to grab my one there, or you can use a pokey tool and just stab a hole through if you don't have one of these. Basically, you just want to pull this out just so that you can get this in here, and then mark the centre point. I'm just eyeballing it here. That's pretty good, like so. And then again, you want to eyeball. You could draw pencil if you want here. I'm going to eyeball. Same there. Ah, I'm happy with that. And then grab your ribbon, fold it in half. You want to put a knot on the very end. I've just put a nice knot right at the bottom there. Okay. And you want to feed this inside. So I'm just going to pop a bit there with my finger, and then with my pokey tool, just use some tweezers there just to get it through. So pull it up like so, and then you want to feed that through again. You use the kind of corner of the ribbon, you can just pull that through with your fingers like so. And then what I'm going to do is get some wet glue, because my Pritt stick will not now fit under that. Although it does just close on its own, but I do just want to secure that, so I'm just going to lift it up a little bit. Just put all the glue inside there, and then just bring that down and just kind of hold it in place until that all sets. So it is a little bit fiddly, I'm not going to lie, but that's, you know, to get it as a completely closed object, that's going to be the case, I'm afraid. So that's facing this way, my seam's that way, so as you turn it around, that is now my front. So it's just got all the nice curves, all the nice corners, and there you have a completed tree decoration. I think they're really, really cool. Like I said, do any themes you want, and these would work for all kinds of things. I mean, throughout the year, if you've got a baby shower tree and stuff like that, you could do little baby shower versions and stuff like that. So let's pop it all in the box. So 1, 2, I'll take 2 out of the other one, 3, 4, and like I said, I am going to be making a smaller box next week for just one. But there you go, how lovely. I think that's such a nice gift, and especially if you've personalised it. Okay, that's my acetate, and you can see there, I'm really, really pleased with that. It's just for myself, but now I've seen it complete, I need to put some glue in the bottom there so it's just come unstuck, that little corner. But seeing it now, I've actually think I am going to make some for gifts for my family as well. I think my mum should be watching. Hi mum, she will love this. So you might be getting one of these, mum. But there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this slightly longer, little bit more fiddly project, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope you did. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and like the video as always, and I'll see you in a few days. Thanks for watching. Bye.